welcome to the music room. I'm Duncan Taylor. Today we're here in the music room listening room to talk about the brand new T9X subwoofer from REL Acoustics. Now REL has revamped their entire T-Series line. They've got the new T7X, the new T5X as well. Today we're talking about the 9X because I had a chance to actually demo the new 9X in my system directly in place of my 9i. I have a pair of these 9i subwoofers. You can see my other one down there. And so it was easy for me to just take the 9X and put it directly in the same footprint of the 9i that I had already spent months, figuring out the exact location for subwoofers in my listening room. Before we get into how it sounds, which is what I was concerned with, let's get into the cosmetics, and obviously there are some differences as you move from the I to the X of the same series from REL Acoustics. Notably, it is shorter. It's also a little longer and it's a little wider. I'd say the new 9X more closely resembles some of the silhouette of their upper series, the reference series and the S series. But from the listening position, the effect of a little bit shorter profile in your subwoofer and added to these rounded corners and the nice low profile front grille, it's actually does a little bit more of a disappearing act, from where you're sitting. They kind of blend back into the decor a little bit more. But as we know, REL is constantly developing their technology, and in these new cosmetics, with REL, form generally does follow function. Even though the REL subs are always beautiful to look at, there's reasons for their proportions and the way that they're set up. So let's go into the tech changes that happened with the 9X. In the new 9X, after the 9i, we've got a more powerful plate amplifier in the back. Let me show you that. We've got an AB amplifier just like the old one, but this one packs more power than the previous 9i version. Now, when you're adding more power to your subwoofer design, you can't just throw a powerful amp in there and just think that everything's going to be better. You have to look at all the supporting systems around this amplification. You have to look at the suspension of the drivers, their surrounds, their excursion capabilities, their magnet size, and everything. And as leaders in the industry, REL, of course, is doing exactly that. So we see in the new design a new front woofer, there's a new passive radiator underneath, and both have been optimized to work with the new powerful amp. So how does it sound? That is the big question. Anybody that's considering an upgrade from I to X, as I am, must be concerned with the sound. REL customers are audiophiles in general. REL subwoofers do really great with cinematic explosions and movie sound effects, but what they can do for a stereo system is unmatched in the subwoofer industry out there. And the reason for that is that REL designs subwoofers to integrate with speakers. And by that, they're focused on driver speed, they're focused on linearity, and they are extremely focused on in making that your speakers sound bigger than they are when properly set up. So looking at the differences on paper, I was very curious to hear how they would respond in a real stereo system like mine at my house. And I think it took me half of one verse of one song to fully understand all the differences in the upgraded amp and in the upgraded drivers from REL Acoustics. One of the first things I noticed was the very, very deep bass is substantially improved. We're talking about those ghost notes on transients of string plucks. We're talking about that opening to a classical music piece where you hear the ambiance of the venue, and it's expressed in these low frequency tones that have to do with the size of the venue and the AC and that kind of thing in the venue. That is much more realistic with the 9X in place of the 9i. The next thing that I noticed, and something actually that I think shows up a little bit more often in music playback, is what I like to call the mid-sub bass frequencies. So this has to do with, if you take an electric guitar and you pluck it, after that initial transient, then you have the sustain period of that tone. I've found that the 9X excels at creating a realistic sustain to bass instruments. The 9i has never been a slouch. In fact, I love the 9i, and I've come to trust them, and they're so well dialed into my system. I knew that I could use the same exact placement and hear the great results with the 9X, but I was also expecting, I guess, less of an update than I actually experienced. The 9X is much more powerful. In fact, in my previous listening experiences, it was only at the listening position where I hear the best bass that's the most linear throughout the whole spectrum. With the 9X in place, I found I could start walking around my entire house and getting that pressurized effect, hearing bass that was at the right mix at the right level for the mix, 100 feet away on the other side of my house. So it was an eye-opening experience, the difference between this 9X and 9i. It was instantaneous, and as I've lived with the 9X over the last few days, it's only been reinforced as these beauties got to break in. Well, that's it for me today. I've really enjoyed my time with the 9X. It is an eye-popping upgrade from the old 9i. I know that I need a pair of these in my life. And one of the coolest things about working at the music room is I'm well versed in the process, and I understand actually that the 9i still has so much value in the resale market, in the secondhand market. I'm not worried at all about this upgrade process. I know it's going to be pain-free. So reach out to one of our guys. I hope you enjoyed this view of the 9X. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe, hit the like button, and just get ready for more videos like this from us.